How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel, and today we're here with the April 2025 update for Chicago O'Hare Terminal 5. Today's update is set at 4 p.m. and as of late March of 2025, the summer schedule for the airline industry has officially taken place, or it's officially gone into effect. So a lot of the seasonal routes for O'Hare have come back, a lot of resumptions for the summer season. And you're going to see quite a few of those routes back in this update, or a couple of them, I guess. But it is 4 p.m., so that's a pretty busy period regardless for O'Hare Terminal 5. Lots of the international arrivals and flights in general going and coming. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to go in reverse order this time, mainly because I'm on this side of the airport, so might as well get this part over with first. So we'll start off with gate M40 with this Spirit Airlines Airbus A321neo. Just came in from Cancun as flight 105. And next up, gate M39, we have the Frontier A321neo, which has also come in from Cancun, and that's flight number 45. And at M38, we've got the Frontier A321, which came in from Austin, Texas as flight 2800. I think that's a new route, not sure when that started, but I don't think they flew to Austin before. But anyway, came in from there. And we'll be pushing back in about an hour or so for a flight to Denver as flight 1483. Alright, next up at gate M37, we've got the Southwest Boeing 737-800, came in from Las Vegas, flight 3499. And we're making service out to Austin, Texas, as flight 3667. I don't remember if Southwest recently started this route or if they've been flying to Austin. I have not been paying attention to Southwest. They've pretty much been actually cutting back on O'Hare lately a little bit. But yeah, I never knew they flew to Austin. I might be blanking on that, but that's where this aircraft is going to be headed off to. Alright, moving on to gate M35 is the TAP Portugal Airbus A330-900neo, just docked into the gate from Lisbon as flight 243, and later tonight we're making flight back to Lisbon, I believe flight 244. Next up at gate M34, we've got the Cathay Pacific Airbus A350-1000, getting ready to head back out to Hong Kong as flight 801. Some news about Cathay, they are daily into Chicago now. I believe previously they were like 5 weekly, but they've since upgauged service to either 6 weekly or daily service, I can't remember, which is good because, you know, back to basically what it was pre-pandemic. They used to fly daily from Hong Kong on the 777, and they also just started flying to Dallas as a couple days ago. They started flying the 350-1000 from Hong Kong to DFW, which is exciting for them because that's the first time Hong Kong service, non-stop service to Hong Kong, passenger-wise, has come back to DFW since the pandemic, when American Airlines flew it. So really glad Cathay's brought it back. It'd be nice to see American Airlines do it again someday. Given their current strategy with their routes and stuff, I highly doubt it's ever going to come back, but much rather take Cathay on that route than American, and I'm sure most people would agree with me on that as well. Next up to gate M33 is the American Airlines Boeing 787-9, just came in from London Heathrow as flight 47. Apparently they actually got rid of we used to have a morning flight during the summer season to Heathrow. It used to leave at like 9 or 10 a.m. I think it might have been flight 90. I can't remember the flight number, but there used to be a daytime flight from Chicago to Heathrow that used to operate during the summer. Unfortunately, that's not coming back this season. I believe, you know, as American adds more seasonal flights to Europe, other, you know, cities in Spain and Italy, elsewhere, etc. Just trying to reallocate those aircraft to other routes, I guess. So with that said, they had to cut one of the daily frequencies that we get to Heathrow. In the summertime, Americans usually flying Chicago to London, I think 3 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day. That's how it used to be, and this summer I believe it's 2 times a day, or maybe it is still 3 times a day, could be wrong, but either way we have lost that morning service to Heathrow. Just thought I'd mention that. And just before I forget, taxiing out for departure is this Southwest Boeing 737 MAX 8. Came in earlier from Dallas Love Field as flight 1385, going off to Nashville now as flight 1470. Next up, gate M30 is the Emirates Boeing 777-300ER, just came in from Dubai's flight 235, and it's just in between flights. It's got about another 4 hours of a layover here before its return flight, or 4 hours? Yeah, something like that, 4 hours before its flight back out to Dubai as flight 236. Next up at M29, we got the Royal Jordanian 787-8, just came in from Amman as flight 263, and that's also got about 3.5 to 4 hours of a layover before its return to Amman as flight 264. Moving on to gate M27 is the ANA Boeing 777-300ER. Just came in from Tokyo Narita, I believe it is, flight 11. And in about an hour or so, hour and a half, it's going to taxi over to Terminal 1 for its departure to Tokyo Haneda's flight 112. That departs around 5:45, 6 p.m. I didn't mention this before. I think I might have shown this aircraft in a previous update, but it used to actually have the Tomodachi sticker. The original model used to have a little sticker behind where it says Inspiration of Japan. I don't know if you can tell, but there used to be like a little square sticker. If you look back at, if you actually search up this exact plane on Google, JA777A, you'll see that sticker that I'm talking about. Unfortunately, this plane is actually retired now. 777A, they retired it during the pandemic, so ANA was just getting rid of their older 333s, or not even that. There's a couple older 777s out there still flying for them, but they had to cut back on their fleet a little bit to minimize losses. So this aircraft unfortunately was retired, but none of them flying have that sticker, so I had to remove it just to keep it realistic. It was a minor project, but never really highlighted it before, so thought I might as well do it today because I remembered, but there we go. Alright, moving right along, gate M25 is the Qatar Airways Boeing 777-300ER. In between flights from and to Doha, came in as flight 725. It's going to go back out to Doha as flight 726 at 7:45 or something like that. I keep forgetting if their departure time is like 7:45 in the summertime, and then I think in the, the winter, they changed it to 6:45, but I think for the summer and whatever, it's either 7:45 or 8, something like that, but there you go, that's Qatar Airways right there. Okay, this is pretty exciting. Gate M24 pushing back is the Austrian Airlines Boeing 787-9 headed back out to Vienna as flight number 66. Austrian has switched back to the 787 for, I believe, the summer season. I covered this in an earlier video. I think it might have even been the last update where I brought the 777 in. But the 789, they only have 2 of these, so they currently alternate between 4 airports, so JFK, Newark, Dulles, and Chicago O'Hare. So for a specific season, they'll have one 789 flying to JFK, one flying to Chicago, and then for another season, they'll have them switch. So the 789s will go to Dulles and Newark, and then the 777 will come to Chicago, and the 767 to Dulles, something like that. But for the summer, at least, we're getting the 787, the 2 789s that they've got. One of them is in the all-white livery, and then this one, OE LPM, is in the full Austrian livery. Great plane. I've seen it. I think I might have seen it briefly at O'Hare recently. Hopefully we'll get to see it properly soon. But yeah, pretty cool. Really happy to have Austrian here. This model has been on the, been looking to get it for a while, and I'm glad Austrian is bringing that to Chicago now. Really exciting to have that here. Next up at gate M21 is the American Airlines Boeing 787-8. Just came in from Rome Fiumicino as flight 111. That's, of course, a seasonal flight for the summer that they've resumed for the season. And like I covered in one of my earlier videos about American Airlines in Chicago, this season for the summer, they've already started. I think Barcelona and Madrid is a new one. They've also just started. Barcelona is not new, but Madrid is the new one. American Airlines is flying that. I can't remember if Naples has started yet, but that's also coming this summer on the 787. Either Naples or some other city, not Venice. Naples or Venice, I'm confusing the two, but either way, a lot of new European services coming to Chicago, or not a lot, but we're going to have a big European network for American out of Chicago this summer. So London, Paris, Barcelona, Madrid, Rome, and then Naples or whatever. So I might have missed a couple, but exciting. And it's unfortunately only for the summer. Again, I've covered it in a previous video just because of aircraft, resource constraints, whatever. Makes sense. Hopefully they can make some of those routes year-round later on, but for the time being, it's pretty busy for the summer for Americans, so good for them. Alright, next up at gate M20 is the British Airways Boeing 777-200ER, actually a new model. This aircraft has just come in from London Heathrow as flight 299. BA does, when they fly the 777-200 to Chicago, it's mainly these aircraft with the GE90 engines. Not too sure why, because they have quite a few of those Rolls-Royce 777-200s also based out of Heathrow, but for some reason, the majority of the 222s that BA sends here have the GE90 engines. And shout out to RM Model Store. This is a pretty rare model, actually. You can't really find this on eBay for a decent price, but he had it in stock, so hit him up and was able to get it from him for a decent price as well. And there we go. It's another BA 777 or BA aircraft to have in the fleet, I guess. But yeah, that's just coming in from Heathrow. It's got about an hour offloading in T5, and it's going to taxi over to Terminal 3 and depart back to Heathrow around, 6:30 p.m. as Flight 298. So like I established earlier, maybe in a previous video, maybe last year, BA has 3 daily flights into Chicago for the summer and fall season. The usual 295, 294 in the early afternoon, early evening, and then 297 and 296 in the evening, and then the other one you saw just now, 298 or 299 and 298, which is like the late afternoon, early evening flight. This one here at M19, this is the 787-10. This came in on the the early afternoon flight 295, and after offloading and whatnot, it's pushing back right now. It's going to taxi over to Terminal 3, board at Terminal 3, and depart back to Heathrow at around 4:15, 5 p.m. as Flight 294. So there we go, and it's already been a year, can you believe it, since BA moved its departures to Terminal 3. It feels literally like just yesterday they did that. Aer Lingus did it before, obviously, and Aer Lingus, of course, they're fully in Terminal 3 now. You won't see them at Terminal 5, of course, but yeah, crazy. BA's already over there. It's already been a year, and that's it. Okay, moving on to gate M18 is this United Boeing 787-10. This aircraft just came in from Tokyo Haneda as Flight 882. Just getting offloaded, then eventually it's going to go to Terminal 1 and fly somewhere else. And just next door, gate M17 is another 787-10 for United. This one just came in from Frankfurt, or came in earlier from Frankfurt as Flight 906, and just finishing off the offloading process. Here at M16, we've got the Swiss Airbus A330-300, just came in from Zurich as Flight 8. We'll soon head back out to Zurich as Flight 9. This flight is normally, as you might know, it's usually a 777. It gets upgauged to a 333 in the summer season. And then Swiss adds a second or earlier flight in the day, which is a 330. So I actually haven't done my homework on that. I don't know if they've actually resumed that earlier flight because it is a summer schedule now. I believe they should have at this point. But I'm not too sure why the 777 isn't back. I also haven't checked that. I'll probably put a note or something on the screen. But for now, at least the next week or so, this flight is still A330, so that's why that's here. But yeah, hopefully 777 comes back. It's fun seeing that airplane, but either way, Swiss is a cool airline. Right, pushing back from M15 is the KLM Boeing 787-10. Actually never realized how many 787-10s we get in Chicago. Now we get KLM, of course United's everywhere with the 787-10. British Airways brings it in every day, almost. Okay, that might actually be it, never mind. So it's like, what, 3 airlines? BA, KLM, and United. I might be missing one. I don't think I am. No, just those 3, right? Yeah, probably. Okay, KLM 787-10 pushing back, going back to Amsterdam, right? That's Flight 612. And just next door is its partner airline, Air France, Airbus 350-900. This one has come in from Paris Charles de Gaulle's Flight 136. And its departure is back out to Paris in about an hour or so as Flight 137. I believe that I got that right. I mix up their flight numbers, but Air France, thankfully, is still flying 350 here. I will crash out if they start flying 787s here or 777s here, because I really don't want to have to buy like a 787 model or whatever, because it's wasting money. But you know, at least for now, they're flying 350s here, and they have been for a while. So good on them. Thank you. Merci. All right, so the Delta gate's not as busy today. I actually heard Delta might be getting a couple more gates in Terminal 5. There's been a big sort of mix-up with, not mix-up, but there's a big sort of changeover going around with a lot of the airlines and their gates in Chicago, at O'Hare at least. So from what I heard, American is losing a couple gates in Terminal 3. United is getting a lot more gates in Terminal 1 or wherever. And then I think Delta is, or maybe Delta's losing a couple gates. That might have been what it is, but stuff is going on. I'm not too sure what the changes are going to be at Terminal 5 specifically, but whatever. I don't know. Delta, we'll figure it out. Okay, so Delta Airbus A319 over here at M9. This one came in from Detroit as flight 2358. We're going back out to Detroit as flight 1721. At M8 is the 737-800, operating flight 1477 from and to Atlanta. And pushing back from M5 is a 717-200, operating flight 1533 from and to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Alright, and the last part of the video is going to be the taxiway. I know you guys have missed this part. I haven't done this in a while, but busy as usual in Chicago. It's the afternoon, traffic jam, whatever. We'll start off right here, American 737-800 going off to Raleigh-Durham as flight 600. We've got the United Express CRJ-700, this is CRJ-550, heading off to Memphis as flight 4411. We got a 737-700 going off to Dallas-Fort Worth as flight 793. We've got the American Eagle CRJ-700 going off to Peoria, Illinois as flight 6487. We got the United 737 MAX 8 going off to Kansas City as flight 310. And just behind it is the bigger 737 MAX 9 going off to Fort Myers in Florida as flight 2605. We got the United Express Embraer 175 going off to Nashville as flight 3437. CRJ 700 over here going off to Bentonville or Fayetteville, Arkansas, flight 4570. And last but not least, the CRJ 200 for United also going off to Peoria, Illinois as flight 5442. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this update. Thank you all very much for tuning in till the end. As far as news goes, Avelo Airlines actually just announced, not just announced, but they a couple weeks ago announced a new service between Chicago O'Hare and New Haven, Connecticut. Apparently they're going to be using Terminal 5. I assume that's where most of the new airlines are going. And they used to fly, for those who are aware, they used to actually fly from Midway to New Haven, but I guess Southwest kicked them out, or I don't know what happened, but they are shifting to O'Hare, and they're supposed to start flights later in May, soon. By the time you're watching this video, they might already have started, but they will be flying 737-800s, I believe, from Chicago to New Haven, and I think it might be once a day or twice a day, I'm not too sure, but we'll see how that service does. I'm not too sure how it'll perform. I'm not even sure how the Midway to New Haven flight was doing, but that's exciting nonetheless, a new flight over to Connecticut. As far as other new routes, Avianca, I think I covered last month. They've already started service to Bogota in Colombia. Really exciting. I think we might be getting a new route to El Salvador. I think I also covered that Avianca El Salvador will be resuming service to San Salvador later in the summer, or maybe it's in May. I have not been keeping up, I'm sorry. And Avelo was the only one that I was really hoping to cover, and I also talked about the gate swaps, all the airlines losing gates or gaining gates. And yeah, it's been a Chicago O'Hare, just doing their thing, I guess. It's a big airport, busy airport. It was recently, the 2024 rankings are out. I think Chicago O'Hare was, 6th or 7th busiest in the world, something. Second, I think, in the world by aircraft movements, but passenger-wise, it might have been 6th or 7th busiest in the world, something like that. We've definitely fallen quite a bit since 2021, I think. O'Hare was the busiest by movements at one point, but it is still number 2, which is pretty cool. By passengers, I don't know if we've fallen or whatever, but again, have to double check on that. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If I missed anything, let me know. There's a couple, United's been, balling out on their European flights, so we try to include those in the next update. Seasonal flights, I talked seasonal European flights. Finnair is back, so hopefully you'll see them in the next update, along with, the new the second daily Iceland Air flight, whatever, British Airways as usual, Lufthansa, of course. You'll see all that stuff later in a later update. I'm so tired. It's actually well past midnight, been up all day, so had to get this video done so I can not procrastinate and upload it on time. But anyways, appreciate you all sticking around till the end of the video. If I missed anything, again, leave me a comment below. And that's it. Stay tuned, more videos coming out, especially from the Saudi Arabia trip from January. Still slowly getting through them with work and studying and just balancing life. But thank you for your continued patience. Thank you for watching once again. And I will catch you all in the next video. Goodbye.